Hello and welcome to the second part of inner join statements in SQL. In the first part, I have tried to explain the basics and we used the employees database to demonstrate how inner join works. In this part, I would like us to explore more about inner join using the Chinook database we've been working with. When you scroll down to the bottom part of this module, you will find four documents. The first three documents or attached files are links to join operators or operations. So you're expected to open these links and read more about join. But the fourth one is a file called SQL join statements. It's a SQLite project. When you open it, you can go ahead and download it just like we usually do. Click here and open a new window, and then you hit on this download button to get it downloaded to your computer. So once you download it, go ahead and get it opened in your SQLite DB browser. So I've already downloaded this file. Let me go ahead and open DB browser, and from DB browser I'll open up the projects. Let's get to SQLite. The project is, I think it should be my downloaded files. Oh, I don't think I have downloaded it before now. I'll download it from here. Click on download, and this file is being downloaded. I'll go ahead and check my excuse me downloads folder. Let's check downloads folder. All right, here is it. Cut this from here, then go to I have to create week 4 folder because I want to try as much as possible to organize my files appropriately. Inside week 4 folder, I'm going to paste the file SQL join statement. Okay, having done that, I get back to DB browser, click on open project, and go to SQL database week 4 and select the project. So it opens up again, expecting me to add a database. Come back to where your database is stored and select Chinook. Click on open. So once you do that, you have the project opened and you have your database, connected to the project. Okay, so here, if you check out the first comment I have here, I said application of inner join. We are using it to find common information between tables. All right, so let's look at this particular write up, the comments. Sometimes artists add a title track to their albums. This is a track that has the same title as the album. We want to write a query that returns albums that have a title track. So again, let me just explain this. Sometimes you see artists will name their album after a particular track. Okay, don't forget that an album usually contains more than one track. Okay, you can have two, three, four, five, six tracks, and each track in that album or under a particular album would have different name. All right, but sometimes an artist will choose to call a particular album one particular name of the track. Let's say that particular track is the favorite track, then to call the artist to call that album the same name of the track. So here we want to query out those albums that have the same name as the track. How do you write that query? Let's see how to write that query. Okay, so this is the query right here, and I just went ahead to explain this. I said in plain English, we want to return rows in the album ID column from the albums table, title from the albums table, and the name from the tracks table, where the album table title column matches the tracks table name column. So one way I would have done this if I never know about the inner join would be to use the where clause, and the where clause wouldn't be an efficient way to do that. But I've done it using the inner join statement, since I know the inner join statement would give me the common value or common records from two different tables. So we selected the album ID using the alias A. So I say in this case, I'm saying, hi SQL. Please, whenever you see the table or the word albums, whenever I see A represents albums. So this is an alias calling albums A, because since I'm going to be referencing columns, I don't want to be typing albums, albums, albums all the time. I am picking the columns under the albums table. And I'm telling SQL also that whenever you see tracks, please call it T. So I just did this in two different ways for you to know that you can actually rename a table, or not rename actually. You can give a table a variable name by using two different methods. Either you just call the name of the table with a space and the letter you want it to be seen as, or you put in the as word after the name. So these are two different ways. So I can also take out this as and it will work just fine. Just say tracks space T or albums space A. And you can also type in the as, albums as A and tracks as T. So saying C albums as A and C tracks as T. Okay, so let's go over the query again. So I've selected the album ID from the albums table, the title column from the albums table, and I called the title column the album title, and then I selected the name column from the tracks table and I called that the tracks name. All right, using the alias. Okay, next, the next statement is a from statement, from albums as A. Now, because these columns are coming from two different tables, I have to call the second table inner join tracks on. So on the on statement will now go to the specific column where I want to search for those equal uh, items. So I said on title column that is present in the albums table equal to name column present in the tracks table, which means go over to these two tables, the albums table and the tracks table. Look through the title column in the album table for those names of track on the tracks table that are the same. So wherever you find the track name that is the same thing as the album's title name, please return the album ID, the title of that album, and the name of the track. Do you follow? And just give me the first 10 items. Before we limit it to the first 10, let's see the entire result by selecting this part of the query and run it. As you can see, we have some albums, quite a number of albums, whose title is the same thing as a track in that album. So album ID 2, which is titled Balls to the Wall, has the same name as a track in that album, Balls to the Wall. Album ID 3, which is titled Restless and Wild, has the same name as a track, Restless and Wild in the album. The Let There Be Rock, the fourth album, has the same name as one of the tracks in it, Master of Puppets, and so on and so forth. Can you see? Now we've been able to fish out those albums that have the same title as the track or a track in that album. Beautiful. Isn't this beautiful? This is where the inner join comes in handy. And like I said again in the previous video, if you take out the inner with just the join statement or join clause, you will have the same result or the same output as initial, because without specifying inner, join statement, just the word join, is by default inner join. I hope this is clear. So as expected, our query returned only the rows from both tables that have the same value on the joining column. Another way to state this is that the query has executed column or albums that do not have a title track and tracks that do not have the same name as the album. So can you see that? So that is what that query had returned. Okay, we would see how to join multiple tables by looking at this next query. So now we want to suppose that the previous example, we were additionally interested in knowing who the artists of these albums our listed albums are. How do we do that? So I have seen the album ID, the album title, and the track name. I mean, this album that has the same name, and I'm interested. Okay, who are these artists that decided to name the albums the same name as one of the track in them? I have to join one more query. That is in joining multiple tables. So here is it. We want to return rows in the album ID from the albums table, the title from the albums table, the name from the tracks table, and the name from the artist table, where the album table title column matches the tracks table name column, and the artist table name column where the artist table artist ID is equal to the album table ID. So let's look at the query. Again, we are returning the first few columns that we've returned earlier: the album ID from the albums table, the title of the album from the albums table, and we call this album title. Then we also want to return the name from the tracks table, which is called the tracks name. And additionally, we are returning the name of the artist from the artist table, and we want to call that the artist name. So from albums table as A, of course, that is the alias, and inner join tracks as T, which was what we have initially above, on a dot title equal to t dot name, which is the same condition given above. Then we go ahead and add the third table, inner join artist as AR, on ar.artist id equal to the albums dot artist id. So don't forget that A represents album. So here I'm saying, okay, for those artist id that corresponds, artist id on the artist table that corresponds to the artist id on the albums table, please return the following columns. And when we run this query, we'll see an additional column that has the name of those titles of those artists. So it means it is the artist called Accept that had this album called Balls to the Wall, whose title is the same as the track in the album. Accept also had another album called Restless and Wild, with whose title is the same as one of the track in the album. Then AC/DC is the next artist with the album title Let There Be Rock, whose title is the same as a name of a track in the album. Then Audio Slave, Black Sabbath, and so on and so forth. These are the names of the artists that decided to call their album a given name of a track in that album. Awesome. I hope this is clear, and I hope you understand the concept of inner join and how to query multiple records from your table. So the next video would talk about the application of left join. I hope you understand everything I said about the inner join. Please go ahead and explore these queries and then try to practice it yourself. Ensure that you understand each and every single thing that was said. If you have any questions, remember you can drop your questions in the classroom, in the WhatsApp group, and over in the comment section of this video. Thank you for watching this. Please like, share, and like, comment, and share. All right, see you guys in the next video where we'll talk about the left join. All right, on this note, I say goodbye. Bye bye. See you in the next one.